Jerome Powell's House testimony key points. Monetary policy stance. Powell emphasized the U.S. economy is in a strong position, with low unemployment and inflation somewhat above the Fed's 2% target. He expressed ongoing concerns about how President Trump's tariffs might push inflation higher and weigh on economic activity, noting the full effects are still uncertain. Powell stated the Fed is well-positioned to wait for more information regarding the probable trajectory of the economy before contemplating any changes to our policy approach. He reiterated that the Fed does not consider politics in making rate decisions and will remain patient before adjusting policy. Political pressure. President Trump and his administration have criticized Powell for not cutting interest rates, arguing there is no clear inflation threat. Trump publicly called on Congress to pressure Powell, but the Fed chair's position is secure due to a recent Supreme Court ruling. Some Fed governors, notably Waller and Bowman, have suggested a July rate cut could be appropriate if inflation remains subdued, but Powell did not signal support for immediate action. Economic outlook. Powell highlighted the Fed's dual mandate of maximum employment and price stability, noting the labor market remains robust. He acknowledged that increased tariffs are likely to push inflation higher, but the extent of consumer impact is unclear. The majority of policymakers still anticipate 2 rate cuts later in the year, but the timing depends on incoming data. U.S. market impact today. Stock markets. U.S. equities were relatively stable during Powell's testimony, with no major swings as investors digested the Fed's cautious, patient stance. The absence of a clear signal for imminent rate cuts kept a lid on any significant rally, but also prevented a sharp sell-off. Currency markets. The U.S. dollar index edged lower, losing about 0.3% on the day, as traders saw little urgency from the Fed to tighten or ease policy. The market continues to price in a higher probability of rate cuts later in the year, particularly in September. Interest rates and outlook. Market expectations for a July rate cut remain low, about 18.6%, while the odds of a cut in September are above 80%. Bond yields remain little changed, reflecting the Fed's wait-and-see approach. Summary. Powell's House testimony reinforced the Fed's patient, data-dependent approach amid ongoing political pressure and tariff-related uncertainty. U.S. markets reacted calmly, with the dollar slightly weaker and stocks steady, as investors await clearer signals on inflation and the path for interest rates.